Hello everyone, my name is Sharon, also known as Sagefira, and welcome back to my playthrough of I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, recorded live over on Twitch. Last time, the adults decided that after 4 years of protecting us, that the teenagers of the exocolony deserve the truth. The exocolony is almost out of food, putting us in danger of starvation. With this knowledge, we put our studies on hold to do everything we could to help alleviate the shortfall. We explored a new region of Vertumna, the Valley of Vertigo, searching high and low for new sources of food. Will our efforts be enough? Will we survive the year? Or will we starve to death in our new home? That being said, we are back. We are at the beginning of wet season, my favorite season in this game. We have brought down the colony food shortfall from -100 to -60, which is pretty good. I do want to check and see if is there more forageables out there? There's only 4 more forageable events out there. So I think I might leave it alone and I might try to do other stuff now. I feel like it might be a waste of a month just to do those 4 events. Then again, I only did 4 events when I went out last time and I got like 20% food. Here's the plan. Here's the plan, chat. We are going to go finish those 4 remaining events for foraging. We're going to finish the 4 remaining events in the valley. I am showing the number 3, I'm aware of that. We're gonna finish the 4 remaining events. I know how to count, I promise. Go to the valley, do the last 4 foraging events, and hope for food. We'll do whatever story events we have left, and then we will buff either persuasion or animals to try to get another perk. Sound like a plan? Sounds like a plan to me. All right, back we go, out to foraging in the valley for the last 4 events that remain, hoping that it helps with the food shortfall. I really do. I really hope that this helps. We spent a large portion of our year foraging because we were finally told that there was a problem with the food supply and we're finally getting a chance to help. Oh, there you are, Riki Tiki. So yeah, we are gonna hope for the best and hope that we actually are able to contribute. You come across a huge field of flowers. Most are teeny pink ones, but some are big, beautiful yellow ones. You check the holopedia. Looks like they're a brand new species. They don't even have a name. They need a name like butter dandies. Even though they look neither like buttercups or dandelions, honestly they kind of look like spitting cobras more than anything. Just take one, pick them all. I mean, I would like to do the perception challenge and see if we're able to get something out of this. I wonder, but if they look like spitting cobras, maybe they're dangerous? I think I'm gonna play it safe and just pick one. You find the tallest, most perfect yellow flower and leave the rest. No need to be greedy. Yeah, I don't wanna risk it at this point. At this point in time, risking it does not seem like a good idea. All right, here's another event with a Riki. Your path is blocked by a massive 8-legged xenofauna, something between a spider, a squid, and a bear. It's in a rage, grunting furiously and bashing itself against trees and rocks at random. You duck and hide as it glares in your direction, its breath heaving and dozens of eyes gleaming with madness. It's the same soft pink and purple you recognize from the multi-legged Variki that live in this area, but so much larger. Could this be a related species? Its gaze drops from you to your pet Variki, Riki Tiki, who chitters and runs up to it, waving its grasping tentacles. The gigantic creature huffs and leans down to sniff it, its rage forgotten. Do we think that this, is like, is this like a grown-up Variki, maybe? Let's let the creature sniff our pet. The bigger creature makes a chuffing noise, like a tiger. A bassy... is that bassy? A bassy, vibrating exhale that ruffles your Variki's fur. Content it's not going to eat Riki Tiki, you keep back and let them introduce themselves. Riki Tiki isn't intimidated in the slightest. In fact, it seems totally relaxed in the presence of this hulking beast. They touch tentacles and sniff each other, and your Variki even curls up in the bigger one's arms for a while. Wait, they look just like parent and child. Is this another life phase of the Variki? After a while, the huge Variki leaves harmlessly. You're happy your little buddy got some social time with their own species. Let's go. Okay, so we have now learned that Riki Tiki is gonna grow up to be a gigantic hulking beast. That's gonna be kind of awesome, though. Like, how badass is that gonna be? We're gonna be running around with little Riki Tiki just, like, lumbering behind us. That's gonna be awesome. An absolutely enormous tree forms part of the path here. Its roots cut natural stairs into the path, and its magnificent canopy of large, flat leaves completely block out the sky. They arch overhead almost to the ground on the other side. Walking under it is like going through a tunnel. In the tunnel is dark and gloomy, unseasonably cool, and filled with the whispering of leaves. You get the sense that something is aware of your presence. Climb up to it, whisper back. Let's climb up to it. You climb up and onto one of the big flat leaves. Surprise, they actually support your weight. Neat! You get high enough out of the fog to see the whole area. It's very pretty, but nothing else happens. Aw, bummer. Okay. Look, everyone, a Floatcow! We were talking about Floatcows earlier. Look how cute they are. I mean, they look more like sheep, but it's fine. They're Floatcows. I'm not the one who named these animals. I'm just here exploring and enjoying their presence, you know? But how cute are they? A herd of Floatcow are grazing nearby. You watch them peacefully bob along, occasionally releasing streams of urine or clouds of helium to maintain a steady height. Try to milk one, try to capture one. Oh, we should definitely try to capture one. Nova says Floatcows, my beloved, right? We're gonna get all the pets. We're gonna get all the animals. We're gonna bring them home so that we have a food source. It's gonna be awesome. All right, so let's just start with this. Big open, 31 opening. We love that. And then, I mean, I guess we can just do that. I mean, actually, we could get a straight. So this gives us 24. This one gives us 24. Let's see what happens if we do a straight instead. That gives us 19. So yeah, definitely doing this is better. That gives us 24. And last but not least, there we go. Super goal! I love that I'm getting better at these challenges, like, over time. It's making me very happy that I'm, like, slowly grasping one of the base mechanics of this game. Imagine. Eventually, you pick out one young female Floatcow that looks underfed and moves more slowly than the others. She seems like an outcast. The others won't let her eat, and they keep chasing and harassing her. Oh, Floatcow, my love, let me save you. She should be easier to catch, and as malnourished as she is, maybe easier to tame. You get a lasso around her and hold her down while she whinnies in terror and releases her piss ballast to try to get away. You're in the blast radius, but you hold firm. You're able to bob her along behind you all the way back to the depot. Just imagine this for a second. Just imagine Sagefira, and she has a lasso, and like she basically has a balloon, but it's not a balloon, it's a Floatcow. Like, can we just picture that for a second? Isn't it great? It's a great mental image, isn't it? Well, howdy, Utopia says when you bring the Floatcow in. What do we have here? Why, you're a real cowgirl, Sagefira. I'm a mite jealous. Well, thank you, I do try. She inspects the tired Floatcow. She's looking a little under the weather, Utopia proclaims. Here's to hoping we can nurse her back to health back on the ranch. I'll take her back myself. You can come see her anytime in geoponics. Let's go. We got 20 kudos and colony food. That's what we wanted. Was there one more event out here? Ooh, look at that. Does that look like writing? Look, on that rock up there above me. Do you see that? Does that look like writing to you? Like, it clearly isn't legible, but do you think that's writing, or do you think that's do you think that's just shading? It looks like it could be writing. Ooh, mysteries. Not that we can read it. I can't interact with it because it's in the background, but like, how cool would that be if that was writing? I wonder if we'll eventually get to see what that says. Perhaps, maybe. All right. This little gazebo is set up as a waiting area for the automated transporters which trundle back and forth between here and the colony. A sign reads, Autobus Depot, Valley of Vertigo. Attention! Air filters mandatory in this zone. Fruit is abundant, but please identify species before harvesting, as some species may object violently. The xenofauna may behave more aggressively in this area. Always approach wild animals with caution. We're gonna go ahead and go home, because I feel like we did a lot this month. We did a lot over the course of our exploration in the valley. So let's go ahead and go home. Spent the month exploring. Let's go. The colony food shortfall should be at 50% now instead of 100, so that's good. Let's go ahead and double check and see if that ended up the way we wanted it to. Negative 50%, that's not bad. It's no longer starvation. It's now dangerously low instead of starvation. So I would call that a success, chat. I would call that a success in terms of our efforts to forage. So now that the food situation isn't so bad, I feel like now we are able to just spend the rest of our year doing what we want. So first things first, let's check on our parents. You spot your dad poring over some plant samples. Never should have wasted my time on those beans, he grumbles. Too late now. And now that we have animals skill 80 or greater, we can help him with the animals, which is really good. We're gonna test on the animals. I don't know if I like that. Your dad is running some kind of test on the trippets. He's playing different chords and trying to see if they have language, or if they're just making instinctive animal calls. You help him by holding up random objects and try to determine if their sounds map to any understanding of what they're seeing. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that card. Tangent is petting an animal. That is actually so cute. Tangent, I love you. And it's a pretty good card, too. Card to the right becomes a 5. Let's go. They're either saying kill all humans or Linguini sports ball, your dad says, staring at the readout on his hollow palm. I just can't be sure. That's cute. Mom, how are you doing? Same thing. You should drink water and get lots of sleep. Ooh, can we give gifts again? Yes, it's time to give oh no. I don't have a present that she's gonna like. Tangent, would you like a flower? Oh, she does like flowers! I suppose this might be of scientific interest, Tange says, analyzing the flower. She pulls a petal off and looks at it. Yes, I'll have to take a look at this under a microscope. Do I do it? Do I flirt? Last time I flirted, it went so badly. Okay, let's read the options. I hope you find it useful, or you're more beautiful than any flower. Okay, alright, like... Last time when we said that she's beautiful the way she is, it was in context where, you know, she was already having a moment, so it wasn't the best way to react. But in this case, maybe she'll react well this time. I just want her to love me. Let me look at my friendship with her real quick. I'm at 79 out of 100. I think okay, I'll play it safe. I hope you find it useful, Tangent. She turns to walk away, but then remembers herself. Thank you, she adds, almost as an afterthought. Okay, we played it safe. I hope I don't regret that. I want her to love me so much. Please love me. I think what I'd like to do is I would really like to max out my animal skill, because we're really, really close. We're at 92. So I think we're gonna go ahead and do some stuff in geoponics. We're gonna tend the animals, and crossing my fingers, hopefully get my animal skill up to 99 so I can get my my next perk, and then we'll go back to focusing on biology because I feel like that's a good idea. Oh yeah, and because we're gonna get to see the babies. You're right, Nova. We're gonna get to see all of our little animals that we brought home. You meet your dad by the animal pens, fresh and ready for your first day at your new job. Your dad laughs at your clean clothes and your scrubbed face. Oh, Pumpkin, I'm sorry to tell you that you're a little overdressed for the position. He chuckles. You're gonna get dirtier and all heck today. Go on, put on these overalls and let's get to work. I'm ready, Dad. Let's do it. You change and follow your dad to the Floatcow pens. He rubs their noses as he points out their names. I know they're cute, but these ladies aren't pets, he says. They're livestock, and more than that, they're not really domesticated like our animals back on Earth. They're more like tame. We give all the animals lots of room to roam, and we feed them well. They're not gonna get chased down and eaten by bigger animals, and we help them if they're sick. It's a pretty good deal, I think, but they're still pretty wild, he says. Gotta be careful with them. He leans his elbow on the fence. We were pretty lucky that Vertumna has herd animals, he says. Makes it a little easier. We'll probably have real domestic animals in a couple 100 years.
Well, kiddo, your dad says, spreading his arms, we've got all these animals. What do you want to learn about first? Ooh, let's learn about float cows. We love float cows. Raise your hand if you love float cows, because float cows are adorable. The float cow you captured is still here. Look, there it is, he says, gesturing out to the herd. You squint and try to follow where he's pointing. Eventually, you see it. Wow, it's much bigger than when you saw it last. It's been eating well. And guess what? Your dad says with a grin. It was pregnant. See all those little floaties? Our first babies. You smile as you watch the float calves bob along their mother. Oh. We figured out that if we keep feeding them what they'd be eating during pollen, they'll keep making milk year-round, he continues proudly. It makes them heavy enough that they don't float away. Otherwise, we'd have to keep them on leads, like balloons. Just imagine looking out into a field and just seeing, like, balloons, but they're not balloons, they're animals just bobbing. I love that. Alright, let's learn about bristle slugs. Like, let's check on Emerald. I'd love to check on Emerald. Oh yeah, we got a ton of them, he says. They're great, slow and gentle and easy to catch, which you already know. Don't let the spikes fool you. They're actually really cuddly, and don't mind it when you pet them. It actually helps them. In the wild, they'd be scratching up on all sorts of things to knock off those itchy berries. Oh, that's such an interesting thing. So these seal slug plant creatures, they grow needles and berries on their back, and it's actually itchy for them to be there. So that's such an interesting, like, concept for an animal, and, like, it's a perfect animal to keep as a herd animal so we can have food. He scrunches up his nose. They're not really berries, though. They're more like eggs? Well, they're like berries, though, because they're sweet, and you know what? Never mind. Retumnant animals are pretty weird. So they produce their eggs on their back, but they look like berries, and they're sweet like berries, but they're not berries. Okay. Do they? As long as they taste good, that's fine. Tell me about sugar bugs, Dad. Your dad takes you to the rows of crates where the soft, squishy sugar bugs are all clumped up together in the moist muck. These guys are pretty cool, he says, picking one up. It perfectly fits in his palm. They're a colony, just like us. And if you tickle them, you get... He brushes his finger along the top of the sugar bug, and a jet of gooey stuff comes out. Sugar bug syrup, he says. Pretty neat, right? Huh, so is that where we get our sugar? That's kind of cool. What about the trippets? No joke, we thought these guys were just plants for the first couple years, your dad says. We transplanted them from the wild into the greenhouses, but I guess that was just part of their life cycle, because it turns out they're sentient and can move around and stuff. We moved them out of the greenhouses and into the barns, but we don't really treat them differently. They still mostly just, sit there. I want to know, like you said it's part of their life cycle, so I wonder what the rest of their life cycle is like. Do they open up? Do they have a face inside? Okay. I'm not gonna say this, because I do think that in this situation we're in, we need to eat animal products, so we're not gonna go with that. Let's get started with our work! Let's go! Great, your dad says, clapping you on the back. That's the kind of energy I want to see around here. We need someone to muck out the float cow stables. They might float, but their poop sure doesn't. He hands you a shovel. Have fun! Oh, I see. I get stuck with all the crappy work. Get it? Crappy, because we're shoveling okay, let's get to work. Alright, so we need 27, easy. We get +1 to all red cards, 1 slot will turn cards physical. Let's see... Let's just do this. Like so, maybe? Oh, I can do this, and this. And then I can just match up these other ones here, like so. There we go! Excellent. Ooh, did that max out our skill? Oh, did it just barely didn't? 99 out of 100. Come on, we're only 1 point away. Just 1. Oh, sad. Sad, sad, sad. But pretty good. Still good. All right. So the question is there an activity where I can get like 1 point in animals? I feel like there was something here where I could get animals. 2 combat, 1 animal. 3 perception. Oh, I don't need perception, though. Dang. I don't want to do tending to the animals again, because we're only going to get 2 empathy out of that. That's a bummer. Am I going to get animals from anything else? No? I mean, okay. I guess I may as well get a lot. Like, if I'm gonna do this, I may as well do the defense training. It doesn't get me as many stats, but at least I'll get stats in 2 things I need them in. I'm guaranteed the +1 in animals, and I could potentially get a bunch of combat stats if I do really well. So I think I'm gonna go for that. All right, let's do this defense training. There's so many people training in self-defense today that you have to break out into stations. What do you want to work on today? Vert space helmet training, capoeira, or smash things with your fists. Vert space helmet training. You load up a training program in Vert space. Reality fades out of your awareness, replaced by a rolling neon landscape and a thumping bass beat. Shapes start flying towards you, forcing you to dodge and weave around them to the beat of the music. You work up a sweat, lunging and throwing your body around the mat, but it barely feels like a workout at all. We're playing Beat Saber! We just played Beat Saber, that's awesome. You feel moderately more aware of your surroundings. Oh, I didn't need perception, bummer. All right, we need 30? Easy peasy, let's go. Yay. We did it. We did it, gang, we did it. +5 combat, +2 animals, which maxes out our animal skill, which is, oh, exactly what we need. It's been 3 seasons of heavy food rationing, getting more and more strict as the year dragged on and the fields continued to struggle. You've been wasting away. You all have. It's not just the lack of calories, there just aren't enough vitamins and good stuff in the food you are eating. Your muscles ache all the time. Sometimes you feel strangely euphoric, filled with inexplicable energy, but often it feels like there are weights tied to your shoulders, pulling you down. You're tougher than most, but still have trouble sleeping, despite being tired all the time. You spend the whole day in a dazed fog. Oh, +40 stress, bummer. At least you hardly feel the hunger now. It's hard to tell dreams from reality. It's hard to tell dreams from reality. Last week, you were brushing your teeth when you noticed that some of your teeth were wiggling. You brushed and brushed and brushed and watched all of your teeth begin to fall out of your mouth, clinking into the sink like pebbles and washing down the drain. Horrified, you started screaming, only to snap out of it and realize you'd been staring at yourself in the mirror the whole time, lost in a hallucination. Your friends stop working and retreat to their quarters. You lie to each other on the HoloNet, all saying you're okay, just taking it easy, waiting for the harvest. Well, the harvest came and went, as meager as ever. Your mother still hasn't given up and never rests, never stops working, as much as your dad begs her to. She must be sleeping in geoponics because you hardly see her in the family quarters anymore. From where you lie, nestled in bed in your cozy fugue, it all seems like far, far too much effort to bother with. I'm gonna help my mom, because I love her and I want to make sure she's okay. You're out there in the fields with her, being her sidekick, helping fetch things. She never slows down. When the robo-plow finally breaks under the pressure, she doesn't. She's out there even longer, doing everything by hand. Both your parents feel responsible for this famine, but as head of geoponics, your mom takes it personally. She's been skipping meals, relying on water and pressed soy bar rations, just enough calories to keep a body moving, but not enough to stay healthy. Yet she never lets up, working herself to the bone, barely even sleeping, increasingly sallow-eyed and gaunt. You and your dad tried to slow her down, but, well, she's a stubborn woman. If not her, she says, then who? You and your dad are in the lounge, slowly sipping your vegetable broth, when there's a commotion at the doors. Someone's run in, gasping for breath, yelling for you and your father to come to geoponics. You know how I've been worried about my dad this whole time? I've been worried about my dad dying. I've been saying, "Oh, Dad, you can't die. You can't die, Dad. I'm gonna take care of you, Dad." I feel like I should have been worried about my mom. Someone's run in, gasping for breath, yelling for you and your father to come to geoponics. You run over, knowing deep in the pit of your stomach that something terrible has happened. When you see the faces of the agriculturists, your mom's people, you know that feeling is real. Oh, my guts! Oh. Your dad sees her body first. He lets out a cry, like something you've never heard before. A deep, unimaginable pain, dragged up from the darkest part of where fear lives. Your dad falls to his knees beside the frail body of your mother. He pulls her into his arms and sobs, wretched and agonized. You don't even know what to think. Your mom always seemed larger than her body, but seeing her now, there's nothing there. Just a fragile shell. They tell you that she didn't even cry out. She just went to her knees and then lay down in the dirt. And that was it. She's gone. I cannot begin to explain to you how upset I am right now. I really thought that by finding the amount of food that we did, that we were taking some of the pressure off. I can't help but wonder if there was a way for us to find more food to ease that burden on her and somehow make it so she didn't work herself to the bone. I'm really sad. I mean, I would be just as sad if our father had died, but just... Oh my god. She's gone. Your mother's body is taken to the incinerator room, and that night, the colony gathers to pay their respects. Do you join them? Yeah, I do. I can't believe we're back here. I can't believe we're back here. I thought we were doing so well. Like Tammy's funeral, the incinerator room has been cleared, and a wreath of flowers placed over the mouth of the organics recycler. They're white astrantia, your mother's favorite flower, carefully carried from Earth, with the hope of it flourishing on Vertumna. Just like you. You stand with your father and Aunt Anne. Udicott and the rest of the council are here as well, including Rhett. You're surprised to see tears rolling down his face. He's such a hard-ass in the garrison. Cal is here, with all the other agriculturists. The rest of the colony waits in the canteen to offer their condolences after the service. Governor Udicott gives the eulogy. As a colony, we share our blessings, she begins solemnly. However, today, in sad company, we gather to share the burden of our grief. Fluorescent was born on Earth, but she, more than many of us, exemplified the spirit of endeavor to bring life beyond the stars. She bore life, not only in her body, but bringing it forth from the ground she so faithfully attended. The debt we owe to her is the kind that can never be repaid, she continues. It is with deep and unbearable grief that we must continue on without her, in awe and respect for her sacrifice, the depth of which was never expected of her, but which she did not expect of anyone else. It is on her strong shoulders that she carries us still. Udicott closes the door to the recycler, and the particle disintegrators begin to reclaim the molecules that once formed your mother. Oh. Your father squeezes your shoulder, making a small, choked-off noise of pain. As a community, we remember Fluorescent. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us. In this way, her sacrifice is recognized in the manifest body of the colony. The ceremony is adjourned to the canteen, where a somber wake is held in your mother's memory. There isn't enough food to dull the emotions, and your empty stomach only reminds you of her unfinished work. Your father is the new head of geoponics. In a few hours, he receives your mother's remains so that he can add them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. You touch the cool lid of the container, marveling that your mother could fit in such a small box. You don't have to be okay, your dad says quietly. His voice is thick with emotion. I know I'm not. I have to keep going where she left off, but if you can, you should take some time off. I mean, we're actually at full stress right now, so I guess taking time off makes sense. And I feel like it's more than valid to need to mourn after our mother passing. So when Tammy died, we threw ourselves back into work because we were young. We were like 11. We didn't know what else to do. But this time, I feel like this is hitting way too hard. This is hitting way too close to our hearts. I would need time off. We're already stressed as it is. We're gonna take the month off. At least we'll get to see the pretty glowing mushrooms, right? Or we won't, because since we took the month off, we're already inside, so never mind, we don't get to see the glowing mushrooms. The prospect of going back to work like everything is normal is too much to handle. The suns dip below the horizon, and glow begins. You end up spending the whole month alternating between sleeping, scrolling the HoloNet, and staring into space. It's restful, at least. A few days after the funeral, surveyors return with an unexpected bounty from the Valley of Vertigo. It's enough to survive for another month. Until the new year, maybe, if you keep rationing. The colony will continue to limp along, but without your mother. The roar wakes you. It would wake the dead. It shakes the walls, rumbles through the ship's hull, and makes your heart skip a beat. You're paralyzed by a sudden clench of fear in your gut. Through your porthole window, You hear metal screeching and people shouting. Then another roar, guttural and rumbling, like the sound of a mountain collapsing. Something enormous is here. Something enormous is out there. Well, we're not brave enough to go and face it, so we're gonna be staying indoors. Your dad can't hide the look of fear on his face, but he tries. Sounds like we better get a move on to the assembly point, hey kiddo? You head for the creche together. You huddle with your buds, Mars, Dice, Cal, because it's the middle of the night. Almost everyone was in their beds. Some people are still wearing their pajamas and sleep bonnets. Only Nemi is missing. The children's creche is buried deep in the belly of the stratospheric, making it one of the safest places you could be. Even so, the youngest children are scared, and there's a lot of crying. Let's watch holo vids with the young ones. Distraction, right? That's a valid way to cope with the tragedy, right? Somehow, even with the sirens blaring, some of the youngest drift off in your arms. After an hour, someone in the defense squad rushes in and orders everyone to leave the creche. The battle is getting closer to the stratospheric. Before you can even get everyone to their feet, you feel the ship lurch and resettle at a different angle. Something is attacking the ship itself. The children scream, some scatter in all directions, and others sit there, paralyzed with fear. Without warning, the entire wall of the creche just peels away like a tin can, letting in a rush of cold night air tinged with the ozone of plas rifle fire. You look up and see it. Up close, face to Oh dear. It has no face. In place of a face, or even a head, its body just unzips, revealing a mess of writhing pink tentacles and blinking eyes. Nemi and her brother Calm are among the security squad trying wildly to divert it away from the living quarters. If they both die, please, game, you can't take both of them. Please. It smashes into the ship again and roars, calling up a terrible noise from somewhere within its seeping, wet craw. And all the children scream. You have to get out of here. I'm gonna fight my fear and save the children. And probably, I'm gonna be real, chat. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this because I think the red arrow means it's more difficult. Like, it's a difficult challenge. Plus, it's a social challenge. I don't have a lot of good social card. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be capable of doing this, but I have to try. I can't just run away. We gotta try. We're gonna fight our fear and save the children. It's a hard bravery challenge with this. Okay, it's 72. We've beaten challenges that are close to this, right? We might be able to do this. Okay, let's think really hard. So it's a 3-round challenge. We need 72. We currently have 2 cards that have gems on them, so we can hope that we get one of those cards that has bonuses for gems. So what I should probably do is this? Maybe? $17 plus 2 to a card. So if let's do this. Hello? Let's do... Why isn't it letting me do that? Plus 2 to that. Can I play another one? Okay, look at that. 5, 6, 7. I have a straight, I get 5, 6, 7, 3. So I'm getting 25 points from my first hand. That's gotta be good, right? I'm stressed. Oh, God. Okay. Okay, good. So we got the +1 for each gem on other cards for this one. Okay, okay. So now... how do I get a 6? Is there a way for me to get a 6? I don't think there is. 20? Then I'll need 27 for the next one. Okay. 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. I didn't think I would get that. I'm sorry, I realized I was really quiet for much of that because I was really stressed, but I did not think we would get that. We did it. We barely did it, but we did it. Oh, sorry. Again, I'm so sorry that I was completely silent, but my brain was just going a million miles an hour. Okay, maybe this means we'll save someone. Maybe this is... okay, okay. Everyone breathe. Everyone breathe. No skill changes, that's fine. I didn't need skill changes. I just want to save the children, or save whoever I need to save. It takes a tremendous effort to keep your head. Your calm helps the children, who finally listen to you and flee the creche. Your dad ushers you into the engineering wing, where you cower with the others, trying not to panic. All around you, metal screams and buckles, and great tremors vibrate through the ship. Finally, after what seems like hours, the noises stop, and congruence sounds the all-clear. Your dad checks the council bulletins on his holopalm. "Oh no," he moans quietly. "No, no, 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 no." The council calls an all-colony meeting to face the aftermath of the attack. In the oppressive gloom of Glow, you gather near engineering with the other survivors. It's one of the few buildings still standing. The corpse of the Faceless still sits in the caved-in wreckage of the stratospheric, spilling its flaccid pink tentacles from its horrible zipper-toothed maw. It's already beginning to stink. But you can't forget what you saw. Your mind keeps replaying that terrible moment, the Faceless rearing up and obscuring the sky, Nemi and her brother looking so small before it. Governor Udicott was killed by the smaller creatures that swarmed command during the attack. In her absence, Seek addresses the colony. Oh, 07 in the chat for Udicott. The fact she even survived this long, like, she was like an actual old lady. Like, she was an actual old woman, so the fact she survived this long is impressive. In Udicott's absence, Seek addresses the colony. The council acknowledges the bravery of the defense squad, citing their heroism in finally taking down the Faceless. If only it hadn't gotten away from them and stampeded right into the stratospheric. At least they stopped it before it got into engineering, as it would have activated the reactor and left a crater the size of an asteroid impact. Geoponics is gone. The greenhouse is destroyed and fields trampled. After a year of suffering, starving, and only barely scraping by, you're not just back to where you started. It's even worse. Everything your mom sacrificed herself for, gone in one night. The entire front half of the stratospheric has been destroyed. The living quarters, the canteen, the garrison, the lounge, even the creche. It's gone. It's only by some stroke of luck that people hiding in the creche weren't all killed. Seek solemnly reads the names of those who lost their lives. Too many, including Governor Udicott. You all stand for a moment of silence. You feel the weight of loss like a blow to your chest. Nemi and her family cry out when her brother Calm's name is called, and their quiet sobbing continues through the silence. At least Nemi is still alive, right? I thought we were gonna lose them both. Okay, that's not a bright side. That's awful. Oh my gosh. Our mother, Calm, Udicott, who else? There can't be anyone else, right? That's 3 deaths in 1 year of main characters. That's gotta be it. There can't be more, right? With the living quarters destroyed, everyone moves into the engineering wing for shelter. You're crowded into the classroom with other families. The adults try to make it seem like a sleepover, but you're all still so shaken. Nemi cries about her brother and screams at anyone who tries to comfort her. Eventually, you just ignore her grief, as painful as it is to hear her sobbing at night. You feel like you've been awake for days, and you'll never fully sleep again. You try, but you keep jerking awake, crying out in fear. Eventually, you fall asleep sitting up, held in your father's arms. Your sleep is fitful, but mercifully dreamless. And with that, where was our end of year like introduction? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at this. How are we going to bounce back from this? Everything is destroyed. There's literally nothing. There's nothing left.